cross check on YouTube. Awesome. We are live. Hi everyone. I hope you are doing really well. Uh, Today we are doing a really different stream, an awesome stream with engineers at Appsmith. So let's wait for a couple of minutes for people to join in and then we'll get started. I hope you all can see us. Just let us know in the chat, say hi, tell us where you're joining from. So I am Vihar. I'm one of the developer relations engineer at Appsmith. I am joining from India, Andhra Pradesh. Right now, the time here is 10:30 p.m. Feel free to tell us where you are joining from. Say hi on the chat. So right now, we three are joining from three different states here in India. So super cool to have you, Ashok and Rahul. We'll just wait for a couple of people to join in, and then we'll introduce Ashok and Rahul as well. Ashok, where are you joining from?
Hey, so I'm joining from Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Great. Rahul?
I'm joining from Bangalore, India.
Nice, nice. Yeah, guys. So we all are joining from India. The time here is 10:30. I see Achin from the chat joining from Canada. Hey, Achin. Uh,
Hey,
Jishnu from Kerala. Hey.
hey, hi.
All right, folks. So today we are going to discuss a really uh, good tech topic, which is how we build the drag and drop library in React. So this library is kind of a special feature on Appsmith, which Ashok and Rahul will be deep diving in a few minutes. But before we get started, Ashok, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Ashok. So I'm in Appsmith from last February, 2021, not 2022. So it's been a year. I'm part of the UI Builders part. Me and Rahul both are. So as the name suggests, we work on stuff on the building part, the building experience, and whatever the architecture that is involved with it. Um, yeah, I have around 6 years of experience, and yeah, that's like a brief intro about me. Yeah, over to
Uh,
you.
Also, guys, quick off context thing. So Ashok recently had a baby girl. He's joining us even if he's on a leave. So thanks for taking your time, Ashok.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks for saying that.
All right. So Rahul, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Rahul. I'm a front-end engineer here at Appsmith. I joined last June. Again, I work in the same pod as Ashok. That's UI Builders pod. Uh, and I have about 5 years, uh, 5 years of experience uh, with development.
Got it. Got it. Super awesome to have you, both of you guys, on the stream. So also, guys, a few other things about Ashok and Rahul. So these guys are extensively working on different features that you see on Appsmith, especially all things related to canvas, widgets, drag and dropping, widget resizing, widget grouping. So Ashok and Rahul are a few guys who have been extensively contributing to these features on Appsmith. What I think at this point of time you must have realized how cool is the drag and drop experience on Appsmith. But we will also get into how we have built it, and we are also going to talk about the different challenges involved while building this special library on the Appsmith platform. All right. So let's get started with the discussion. So Ashok, before getting details about the code, before we dive in, could you just explain our users what exactly is dragging and dropping widgets on AppSmith, and also can you give a brief, brief intro about how this feature works?
Okay. So let me try sharing my screen.
Yes.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So this is the
Ashok,
Appsmith's
let
user
me know,
interface.
guys, is the font visible, or maybe can you try zooming in a bit, Ashok? I think
What now?
yes, yes, cool. I think they should be.
Okay. You guys must have been already familiar with the Appsmith's interface. So we are a UI building platform. You can make apps with Appsmith. You can, you know, add your APIs, have a data source from where you can fetch data, add some UI components, and link that data to it. That's like a very simplistic explanation of Appsmith. So in building these apps, what would involve is you would need to drag your UI elements, drop them, resize them, maybe move them. Also, I guess you can add your JavaScript code. So this is pretty much how the UI building interface is. So there were a few things that we wanted to enhance. So like I said, we belong to the UI builders pod, right? So we discuss around the experience of how our users build our apps. So as you can see, like drag and drop is like the major and extensively used feature of our platform. So we wanted it to be easy, simple, and something that is not very difficult to understand. So the problems that we had with our early drag and drop, that is like let's say even with this with this checkbox I'm turning off and showing you like the older version of the drag and drop. Let's say I have like a button and I want to add it in between. So this is something that was not be able to done by the user. So he has to drop it and then make some adjustments to the alignment, and that's how it's done. And even if you want to resize something, you're stuck when you hit something. So these are like the problems that we had with the drag and drop interface that we have. Yeah, this kind of gives you an overview of how the drag and drop looked like before we enhanced it.
Sorry, I was on mute. All right, understood. So even I remember when I was working with various form based applications, I had to move all my forms down, all my input widgets down if I had to add an input widget in between. So we have seen, we have been listening to different user feedback on the old drag and drop experience. What, Ashok, before we dive into the new reflow and resize drag and drop experience, could you also tell us what kind of software was involved in building the old drag and drop experience?
Okay, so it's kind of like a small story for this. So last year, I was working on enhancing the UI building experience. So we did like an epic called widget grouping. So if you see, you can drag and select your widgets. You can, multiple widgets can be moved together. So these are some of the features that we did to enhance the UI building experience. So while building this, we used to use a library called ReactDND, which was efficient for us, which was doing the work that we wanted. But once we wanted to move multiple widgets together, let's say like 20, 30 widgets together, it was slowing us down because the library might be a bit efficient, but working along with our code, it was a bit overload for the library, as well as us maintaining the library was really difficult. So we removed it and we just used a native canvas for our dragging and dropping purpose. So all you can see right now is just a drawing on a canvas. There's no HTML that's moving. There's no lot of DOM rendering happening. It's just a canvas painting stuff. So that's one of the enhancement that we did. So we dropped down the we totally removed the React DND and did an in-house library for that. Similarly, once we saw these issues with the drag and drop experience, like the ones that I just now showed you, where you cannot resize a widget once it hits something else, or you cannot move something if there is a widget in that place. So we were planning for the solutions around this. but we were not ready to do it using any library. So I think me and Rahul, we had some discussions. I think Rahul might have remembered. Uh, we went through React Grid. There's a npm library React Grid. So it
Uh, Ashok, you're there.
kind of
Ashok, you were cut for a bit, like for last couple of, like last 1 minute. Could you just repeat it?
hey, sorry. So as I was saying, for the solution that we were seeking, there were a few libraries out there that
Mm-hmm.
were giving the solutions instantly. But just like the way we improved the old drag and drop by ditching out React DND,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to build this in house. We didn't want to use another library because we were planning to extend this solution for other features as well. I think we will be talking about them towards the end about the dynamic height and copy and paste experience enhancements. So for those to be compatible with this solution, we didn't want it to be a library. It's because it was going to weigh us down, and our architecture has to move around for that library. So that's the reason we didn't build. We didn't use any of the libraries that are available.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
And
Guys,
also,
just, uh,
we didn't like the UX for the libraries which were out there in the market as well. So,
yeah.
un- understood. Right.
So there were a few discussions around the
Mm-hmm.
behavior of how the widgets has to move. That which we are going to discuss, I suppose, in some time. To try different things with that behavior. Let's say I want once I move something towards the left, I want to move the other one towards the right or towards the left or towards the top. Um, it it's going to be in my control or in our control if the code is in our hands. But if it is going to be a library, we're going to even if it has a lot of adapter classes to make that happen, we cannot play around with it and make things happen according to our architecture. So that's the reason we went out and we built it in house. Yeah.
Understood. Understood. So, guys, for who, I mean, if you are new to Appsmith, so we recently shipped out this new drag and drop experience. So, this feature was already shipped out in the month of February, and it's already available on all the environments of Appsmith. So, the thing we are discussing right now was the feedback, and was the complications that were there in the previous drag and drop. What the things we will be discussing from now will be all about the new drag and drop experience that Uh, that we have right now on the platform. So Ashok, so next I also wanted to understand. So since this the old drag and drop experience has been there for so long, what was the feedback that you are gathering from users? I know. I mean, myself, I've been the part of team, and I know how much the co-founders had put in. The efforts that co-founders had put in, the experience they shared with this experience. How the entire team had taken decisions on this. So could you also just explain quickly about the user research that you have done in-house and also the feedback that is taken from the community?
Yeah. I think you already know how our feature selection works. So
Okay.
we listen to our users. Uh, we have a very active Discord community. So people post their queries or things that they are not satisfied with or things that they want enhanced with. So they post them as queries or sometimes they start a thread and discuss about it. So we read through it and we saw some feedback where people wanted to place widgets on top of each other. Like you have a table, they want to place something on top of it. We wanted to understand why they wanted to do that. So when I contacted one of the users, he just said like, let's say I wanted to drop something when there is no space available. I was not able to do it because we have checks where um, you won't allow dropping on top of the other. So he just wanted to make the drop happen. He didn't want to carefully think through and add it in a place where it has sufficient space and or move things around to make sure there is sufficient space. So that was a very big hurdle for a user who just wants things done, who wants
Correct.
to try out things, yeah, try out
Correct.
layouts. Because you never get it in the right in the first time, yeah. So that was one of the reasons we started investing time into it. So we understood that there was a problem for enhancing the user experience while building the application. So this is exclusively for building an app. Um, so we thought we need to solve this because we introduced a feature called CRUD apps, right? So
Right.
you just add a data source.
Generate new
Do
page feature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get a bunch of tables from that data source. You just select a table. You get a page where you can make changes to that table and directly make changes to the database. So that's a very efficient feature, very useful feature. So what it lacked is before this new drag and drop experience. Let's say if you see a CRUD app, it's basically full. So you have a form, you have a table. It kind of is full. Let's say I wanted to add a chart. This is actually a user's cry. So he wanted to add a chart. He couldn't do it because there was no sufficient space.
Like he
He
had
had to
to
either
move
yeah
all the widgets down.
yeah he had to either add it towards the bottom, move the others, resize the others, make some space, and then bring it back. And often the problem is he's not exactly sure how much space is needed. So once he gets there, he sees that the space is not enough. He leaves it, again goes back, resizes it, and again brings it back. So we wanted to solve this. This was a very tricky issue, and we were also thinking about allowing layers, like allowing users to stack widgets on top of each other. The problem with that is how the user experience is going to be.
Quick
Let's-
question. So does layers is something like you do it on Photoshop, like bringing.
exactly,
Correct, correct.
exactly. For someone who's really familiar with front end, it's just a Z index. Like you have a table with a Z index one. If you have something on top of it, two, three, so something like that. And you also know that a UI performs less when there are more and more layers. So
Right.
that was one of the major issue. The other one was, even if we do allow layers, and if we take the Photoshop approach of showing that layers, the UX was going to be more complex.
Right.
Selecting those widgets are going to be an issue, and we need to work on user experience where you need to you want to bring those uh, widgets that are in the bottom layer to the top layer. So those were something very that would give a lot of things for the user to work with. It would be really new, and it's basically not so much needed.
It
I
will also
don't
deviate users sometimes. Like they don't,
exactly.
sometimes, if at all this feature was given to me, I do updates to the second layer and forgot about the
Yeah.
first. So things like this will happen when
Yeah. So
adding different
that
things.
was basically the first question which you just said. Let's say you have a button and you added something on top of it, and you forgot about the button. It just stays there. It's a layer that's ineffective. It just stays there. That's the reason we wanted not to have widget stacks on top of each other, because we spent time to make sure there were checks in place to not allow widgets to be on top of the other. If we remove it, believe me or not, our platform is going to be really fast. But we needed them because we don't want to allow layers. Yeah, that's the reason we didn't go with layers. But we still wanted to solve this issue. That's when we tried to see the internet. We tried to see for some solutions for this. Some products, they move the other widgets or things that are in place, and they try to bring up space for the incoming widget or the thing that is moving in to occupy that real estate.
Got
So,
it.
so we understood that, yeah, moving things out of the way, that would actually solve this issue. So as you drag or as you resize, it's just like uh, you have some physical object, and if you have some physical object and you're trying to move it. So that's what we are trying to do, right? We are trying to occupy its space and we have to move it. So we wanted to develop a collision theory around it and move things out of the way based on how your attacking object is coming. That kind of would solve the user's main issue, that he would be able to drop the widget, he would be able to resize the widget, um, and there would not be an issue where he has to stack it someplace, go make changes, and then bring back the widget.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's how we wanted to do this feature, because it seemed really very very important. Yeah.
Okay. So Ashok, when you are at the developing phase, I mean, when you first ideated about this, moving widgets, giving space to widgets, what were the limitations, you came across? I mean, are there any limitations for this?
um so I guess uh, performance when it comes to more and more widgets, let's say you have like 200 widgets and all, it basically there are no apps in Appsmith that use like way more widgets. We tested it around with 100, how many, Rahul? 100, 150.
100, yeah, 100.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it worked pretty well, but we are still a bit reluctant because of the performance. Because when you drag and drop, you are trying to make collision checks, you're trying to make think which has to be moved, which has to be stayed in that place, which has to be resized, and all these going on in the reflow algorithm. Sorry, I'll just talk about the word reflow in a minute. So we make all those calculations in that algorithm, so that the performance is the only limitations that I'm seeing with this project. Right now it's not a problem, and we have an eye on it. So we are trying to tackle that too. Once Appsmith scales to a place where you are able to add more and more widgets, and you have to work with more and more widgets. Yeah, I think we wanted to combine a logic of virtual scrolling and I guess limited div visibility, and we'll try to tackle that. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, that's the limitation that I see.
All right. So Ashok, I know you have been breathing this feature, living this feature for almost like 6 7 months while you are building this library for Appsmith. But before you were getting started, how long did you estimate it to be shipped, or how was the planning? How was the design? Because I personally know that at Appsmith we take design very seriously.
Yeah.
We have bunch of awesome designers who share Figma files out in public, who iterate on the Figma files. How long did you expect this feature to be out?
Rahul, you want to talk a bit?
Yeah, initially we thought we're going to do it in a month, something.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, that was actually not the case. The thing is, we had to iterate over a lot of UXs to and understand what's the best we can provide to the user. Uh, I remember like we trying out multiple POCs for
Yeah.
the project, and also remember we had to just discard it, and we just had to stick with one, and then take that forward. So that took some time, and we ended up taking like what 2.5 3 months in the project.
Yeah.
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 Got it.
Uh,
So while building this feature, how did the design team help you with this? Because when you are bringing your widgets onto the canvas, there should be some animation, taking that widgets a bit to the other side, and you'll have to show some design side. How
yeah.
did this process go?
Yeah. I'll talk about it. So, so the design didn't involve a lot of. We didn't get a lot of inputs in design perspective, like the things that you just said, animations or
Hmm.
the look and feel, because this didn't have much of an animation or look and feel. What it mainly had is a behavior. So how a widget moves, how the others move around. That was the thing that we wanted to discuss and we wanted to agree upon. So it was really hard for us to discuss this because let's say you generally discuss with designs is you get a wireframe and you discuss with it. And the problem with here is we need to discuss behaviors which cannot be done by using wireframes. So we had to talk it out, give examples like let's say I have uh, how do I, even now it's really difficult for me to
I totally
tell
understand.
it. Let's say you have two widgets, one below the other, and you have one moving to hit the first one. So the major point of discussion was, uh, does the second one move? Because um, there is a space between two widgets which the user intended to have, so he
Right.
wanted that space to remain, and the other party says no, it's not intended, it's white space. It doesn't matter if it goes away, and the second one only moves when the first one hits it. So these
Correct.
are like two behaviors that we started discussing, and we could never agree upon it. And this was the design discussion that we are having for very long time, and we really wanted POCs to be built for this, and we built POCs for two behaviors, relative and natural. I think we'll discuss that too when we are talking about like the storyline of this project. And I think it took around 1.5 week, 1.5 months, for us to agree upon one single point, that amongst these two behaviors, some are inclined towards relative and some are inclined towards natural. And by a minute audience, or by some Discord users, we went with natural because it felt more easy to grasp, more usable, and yeah, that's why we went with a natural way, and that's where the design stopped and the implementation uh, um, started. So by design, I mean that's when the POCs, the thinking about user experiences, the thinking about designing the solution. That's when it stopped, and we started the implementation. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. So I have one more question around developing this particular new feature. So usually when talking in terms of front end, it involves writing logic behind the scenes, and also it involves, as you said, the look and feel of how this logic, works, and at the end product. So were you guys both handling both at the same time, or were you only focused on writing logic first and then, or is it like a simultaneously, based thing?
so like I said, as far as this feature is concerned, we didn't have a lot of look and feel changes. We just added a few animations to make it more smooth,
Mhm.
and a lot was contributed into implementing the algorithm. And the second part was mostly dedicated into calculating the mouse speeds, so that we can understand how to do, when to do a container jump, which we will also talk in a minute. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So Ashok, I have one last question before we dive into the actual code part and the actual algorithm that we have built. So this question is basically, what all the other POCs? Because I remember you guys had made 4 POCs before we
Yeah.
started working on this feature. So can you also, talk a bit about these POCs?
Yeah, sure. Rahul, would you mind talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted you to speak about these POCs because there is a lot of hard work that you have contributed to this. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, initially, like to imagine the algorithm, we just tried to implement two simple scenarios where one we would just when you resize a widget, it just moves the other widgets around it on that direction. The other one, what we imagined was when you're dragging a widget, that when it collides with any other widget, that would just uh, the widget with dragging that would resize to fit the space that's available. Right? That I think Ashok, Ashok can show it. Let's see some. Let's see that. Uh,
Hey, sorry. Okay.
uh, yeah, Ashok, do you mind showing the POC that the drag to resize?
Yeah,
So
just give me a
users
sec.
can just see it.
Right. Guys, so in case if you have any questions, feel free to put it on chat. Uh, I mean, it might be anything related to this particular topic or anything related to building apps on Appsmith. We are here to answer these questions.
Yeah,
Right.
this
Ashok,
is one of the yeah. Can you guys hear me?
yes, yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So this was like the early POCs that we did. So this is like real time changing the size of the widget that is being dragged. So let's say this is the checkbox group. It's this big, and I want to place it here. So it shrinks itself, and it allows you to still drop it. So this was like the early POC, like the early behavior that we were trying to achieve.
So does this have anything to do with the one that is existing today? I mean, are this linked a bit, or like is this completely different?
Yeah. So this is not built in today. Yeah, Rahul, you were saying something.
Sorry, go on. With this, we just decided not to go with this. We decided it's a bit better to move the widgets around rather than changing the size of the one we're dragging. actually show you some other POCs which we also built, the relative and natural,
Mhm.
which we're talking about.
Mhm.
Once we decided we're gonna move the widgets around it, not resize the uh, widgets with dragging. So we decided that we are you able to see my screen?
No, we
No.
are not able to see your screen.
Was it? Okay. Uh, sorry. Oh, I think I don't have permission there. Give me a second.
I think you should be able to
Okay.
see your screen.
Yeah, you're able to see my screen now?
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Yeah. We decided to go with two POCs. One was when we are hitting a widget, it would try to maintain the white space that's there. If you see it here,
Mhm.
we'll try to maintain the space, be it like vertically or horizontally. Just try to just maintain a space between these.
Correct.
The other one, which is
Your screenshot still. Can you share the other tab?
the other one
Yes.
would just remove the blank space and it would just collide one after the other, like in a cascading manner, rather than uh, just leaving the space there.
Correct.
Uh,
So this is called as natural movement.
yeah, this is called a
Yeah.
natural reflow. This is a term we use internally to describe these things.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
the first one that Rahul showed, we coined it relative, and the second one we coined it as natural. So these are not real terms. We just use these so that we can identify these behaviors. Yeah, and the second one felt more natural because that's how generally stuff move. We saw widgets as physical entities, and the canvas like a big table, and you have some let's say you have a cell phone or and another cell phone next to it, and you try to move your cell phone next towards the other one. It only the second one only moves once it gets collided. I don't think I should be explaining this.
no, it
It's just the natural world. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
makes sense you explaining this thing, because that is how we feel daily, and that is how the internet should feel daily. So
Yeah. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. The second one was, thinking that any space between two widgets was user's intention, that he wanted that alignment and he wanted that space. Yeah, we had so much of conversations around these two POCs, these two behaviors. It took a lot of time for us to understand which one would actually work for the user and which one is something that is going to, hit on spot for this problem. We took feedback from Discord community. We did user research. I think our founders, both Abhishek and Nikhil, those guys are the ones who, they took each behavior one person, and I wouldn't say which behavior was supported by one the founder, and they had.
I think Ashok just dropped off. Let's, yeah, you are back, Ashok.
Oh my god, it's a power cut, man. I didn't
No
expect this.
worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Got
I
it.
said, yeah, one of them took natural and one of them wanted relative, and we had these discussions, and finally more people were inclined towards natural. We had a session set up with our internal Appsmith users, and we had a combined feedback from the Discord community, and we finally went with natural.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, guys. I think it's now time if we talk about the feature that is live present on the product, which is based out of the reflow resize algorithm. So, could you brief us about this particular feature that is right now, shipped on the platform?
Yeah, Rahul, can you share your screen? I'll try to walk through it.
Yeah, give me a minute. Uh,
Not yet. We can't see your screen.
Sorry, I think
Should I?
I'll go for it. Like I don't think I can find the page.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, I have turned in
I see
drag and
that
drop
you have
experience.
turned on that checkbox.
Yeah. Um, so let's say you have the submit button here,
Hmm.
and you want to place it in between these two. So before this, I'll show you the older experience. That's when you can see the actual difference. Let's say I want to place it in between them. There is no way I could do that
Right.
because we have a collision check where you cannot place a widget on top of the other. But right now, with the new drag and drop experience, you can move this table to the bottom and place it here.
Awesome.
So, and this works within your direction. So let's say I'm moving this side. I'm shrinking these two widgets, and simultaneously, if I'm moving up, it moves the other widget as well. So it makes space based on how you move and where you're occupying the space. So it's not just like if I bring this button here, these two widgets are bound to move this side, and this is bound to move to the top. It's based on the movement's direction. So how uh, it started moving towards the left and then started moving towards the top. So we take direction as the user's intent, and we make changes to the rest of the widgets by either moving them out of the way or resizing them. Yeah, so that's how we allow movement of other widgets. The same algorithm applies to when you are resizing it. So you resize it, you resize whatever is in your way that is blocking you from resizing, and you take over that space. And everything is user intent. It's based on the direction of resize.
Correct. So it's basically following the instructions from the user as it is.
Exactly.
Right. Understood. Correct. So how was this algorithm built? How were the technology decisions taken? I mean, as the title says, we have built like a new library for this to happen on Appsmith. So, how was the entire journey of building this feature went on?
Rahul, to you,
Yeah.
man.
Uh, with this, like it evolved over time. Like, we didn't just decide to like just move the widgets, and then we try to adapt that to the dragging.
Hmm.
And that what happened is like then we decided when we found out that it's not retracing. Retracing in the sense like we move the widget to the right, it moves some other widget, and when it's moving back, it doesn't come back. So we just had to adapt it, adapt that again. So as
Correct.
and when we it,
So I'll show you what retracing is. Let's say, so you have somehow shrink the upper widget, right? So retracing is like making it come back, or if
Correct.
do this, making it come back.
Correct.
yeah.
It
Move
feels
this,
so
making it come
natural
back.
that the user won't understand that it's happening at the back.
Yeah.
Mm.
So this involved a lot of discussion between me and Rahul because this is like the what I showed you was like the most simple scenario, and it's easy to grasp and do this, but combine it with directions, and you'll
Yeah.
see a lot of logic in.
I think there is
Yes.
again stop from.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right.
Ashok, you're
Connection
back.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So those are some things that were really difficult for us, and yeah, we still found a solution for that.
Correct. So can you also explain us, the different scenarios where the same logic could be applied? I mean, if possible.
Yeah. So as for the next set of things that we are trying to do this, we are trying to extend this feature is for dynamic height. As you can see in the application here, today the table size is fixed. Even with pagination set, you'll get a scroll inside the table. So
Right.
the table doesn't grow, right? So it doesn't grow growing the application. The application height is always static today. So we wanted to use this algorithm and grow a widget size. Let's say this height increases. Sorry, let's say its height increases. It starts moving whatever is it in its place. So this is literally what is going to happen with dynamic height project. So as in when you have more and more data, the table is going to grow its height, and it's going to push whatever is it in its way.
Got it.
So that's dynamic height.
Understood.
And the other one is copy paste. So copy paste is like, let's say I want to copy this submit button and I just want to paste it here. What today happens is it tries to paste in the next available space, because it doesn't know what to do here. So with Reflow, it knows that it has to go here by pushing this down. So we are going to extend this to that this project for copy and paste as well.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Now let's talk about the library part a bit. So definitely, building a feature like this involves, moving around a lot of files on the entire code base. And since Appsmith is open source, we do it everything in public. So how did you go about creating a new library inside Appsmith, and what was the process there?
Uh,
Uh, Go ahead,
I can
Rahul.
take this one. Yeah. With this, we created a new, it's an internal library, right? So we want to use it. So it's separated out into a separate folder, and that's being adapted to our code. Uh, and
But
then I can probably show you where it is.
yes, you can share your screen and walk us through the code base.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Rahul sets it up, um, like I said at the start, we were looking at a library called React Grid Layout, right?
Mhm.
It had these exported classes, and the way they wrote code, it kind of made sense, and it was really clean. And and we are really glad that we saw it. We saw that structure, or that abstract, before starting this project, and we really wanted to do that, because we know that this project is not going to stop here. It's going to be a part of major enhancements, and it has to be exportable.
Correct.
If this is going to be something really big or really good, if it is exportable, many people can use it, and even internally we can use it for many other purposes.
Correct.
Unfortunately, because of the timeline, because as Rahul said before, we thought it would be in 1 month, and we took like 3 months to build this.
Correct.
uh, we couldn't do the exportability, but it's still very easy to export this code and use for any projects. Yeah.
Correct. Right, Rahul, I think you can go ahead and share us where we can find this on the repository.
Yeah, in the repository, you can find it under Reflow.
Hmm.
Index, you'll find the main method, and this method is the
Can
gateway for the
you
entire
can you increase the
algorithm.
font size?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, this is better,
Yes. Can
Yeah,
you? I think you can go a bit larger.
right?
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, this method is actually can be found in Reflow index. This is the gateway for the entire algorithm. Like this, just feed the inputs, and it gives us back the uh, reflowed spaces, which we update the React store, and that React store moves it to all the widgets. We just translate those widgets in those respective direction. Like if either it's either X or Y. So if X is positive, we just move it down, or if we just move to the right. If it's negative, it's move to the left. So same goes with Y, positive and negative. Uh, and we have adapted this algorithm in use reflow.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a custom hook which we have written to adapt the algorithm specifically for us, so we can use it.
Understood. So Rahul, if someone, a newbie to React, or someone who is experienced in React, wanted to say contribute this, to this repository, are these the files they'll need to refer to? And also, it would be great if you could give them some suggestions on how to use this and how to export this in case if they want to use it.
Uh, yeah, the whole algorithm is in the reflow, so reflow folder. So this is uh, you can look through the code, and uh, this is the main core logic where you can work on it.
Got it.
Can you show canvas dragging arena?
Yeah.
Folks,
No,
so you can view this code on the GitHub. I'll also share you that link on chat.
yeah. So this is like the hook, React hook that we use for managing or dragging, and we have a certain state maintained, a React state, an app state that we use to position widgets. So what basically happens is the hook for reflow is called from here, and it whenever it's called, it dispatches an event and updates the state, which is in turn used by the canvas selection arena to reposition the widgets. So it's as simple as that. You have a div which has some hooks which use the algorithm and update a state, and the state is used to position the widgets. So everything as far as the algorithm does, it's under the reflow folder that Rahul just showed, and the rest are just hooks, which I think anyone who's really a novice person with respect to React can grasp it. Yeah, and it's all open source, so anyone can tap into it and you can understand how the code is written.
Got it, got it. So I just shared a link on the chat for this library. So it you can find this under the app folder. So under app you have I think it's CLI. Uh, just a second. Maybe Rahul, could you just walk us on the GitHub page so that it will be easy for users to find it there?
Yeah, let me just open that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just. Can you zoom in a bit? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, in app folders, just have to open to client,
Mm-hmm.
client to source, and source just find the reflow.
Mm-hmm.
This is you find the code here.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Thanks. All right, guys. So let's talk about the performance and testing that you have done on this feature after it is on the deploy preview stages.
Yeah.
Uh, like I said before, we tested it out with 100, 150
Was it
widgets.
you, or is there any other team who has been doing this testing phase?
Yeah, we got some inputs from our QA team as well. I think Vivek was extensively working and helping us out. We
Mhm.
did some early meetups to understand how much of testing would be involved, how much of bandwidth would be involved, because we really wanted to make sure that at least towards the end we actually knew the timeline for sure. But this performance testing, we started it in while we were implementing itself, because we didn't want to go with a solution to the QA and say that, and come back from the QA saying that, hey, this is not performant. It works, but only works for a few widgets. We didn't want to get in that position. So as and when we had like a rough draft of the algorithms, we used to test um, more and more, which you do with your dev.
Okay. The conference has just mentioned that Ashok network is retracting from the feature. Let me bring that on the screen. Meanwhile, he joins in. Definitely yes. I think his system is behaving like the algorithm we were talking about. Let's give him a minute.
Maybe I can add more to it. Like
Yes. Yes.
the performance thing, like basically we try to cut off all the unnecessary things that goes on in the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have a time constraint, we just try to have some cache for the algorithm so it doesn't unnecessarily process more information. So we just use the cache to like make sure it doesn't process the same information twice or so many times.
Correct,
Sorry,
correct.
folks. I have a power cut, and
No, no
it's
worries, no
really
worries.
bad. Sorry.
All right. So I have some fun questions for you guys. Even you might not know the answers for this, but you can, appropriately give the answers. So, how many
Uh-huh.
lines do you think you have written for building this algorithm? Any approximation?
About
Uh, 4,000?
three. I was about to say 3,000, but okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no. You calculate along with the POCs. It's not just the
Oh,
solution
so
that
not
went
just
in.
one we have. Okay.
We wrote like four POCs. So altogether, I think 4,000 or 5,000 lines of codes.
All right. So, how many commits you have, pushed onto the repository?
It's 99, right? Which is just close to the 100.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
uh,
We talked
yeah.
about it. We wanted to do one more just a force push commit so that it'll look like we did like 100 commits. Yeah, I think it's close to 99, 98 or 99. Yeah.
All right. So, how many deploy previews you have made to, test this particular feature?
Five. Five deploy previews.
Only
Yeah.
five.
Yeah,
Okay,
only five.
I was
Yeah.
expecting more than five.
No, because every time it's not a new DP, right? Whenever you push a commit, it's the same old DP. And we did like four POCs, and I think there was another DP for us. So like we did like five DPs. And after that, once we found out that there were some feedbacks because of the container jumps, and we wanted to do like a beta flag for it. Then I think we did some more DPs. I think two or three added. Yeah, close to eight DPs or seven DPs.
All right. So the next one is an interesting question. How many, calls or meetings you have attended to, come to this stage of taking your library to life?
Counting, counting.
So yeah, like Rahul said, I mean, like we had so many meetings, but they were huddles. So me
Right.
and Rahul, whenever we felt like it, I really love this Slack's feature huddle. Whenever we feel like it, we huddle. Even before this, we didn't use a Zoom link or a Google link. We just huddled, and it made more sense, and it was really easy for us. We used to huddle like 3 to 4 times a day. I used to ask Rahul, how is the algorithm coming? He used to say like, hey, come on, man, this retracing is not working. I'm stuck with this. So every time he says stuck, I know that he's going to, find the solution. He would say it's really hard to fix it. It's really hard to solve this. The next day he'll say, hey, I found a solve. He'll be like, I know, man, you are going to say this. So don't freak out for every blockade. Yeah, Rahul was fantastic with this project. He did the most of the heavy lifting. I just want to make sure everybody knows about it. He did a lot of heavy lifting for this project. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So thanking Rahul and Ashok once again for making lots of helping out developers build a lot of internal applications.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So I have one more last question, and after that we'll take questions if there are any. I believe that the audience have been already involved in this entire discussion because we have been talking for almost 53 minutes about
We were
the
worried, we couldn't make 45 minutes.
Yeah.
yes, so we were talking for almost 53 minutes, and I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion. So
Yeah.
Ashok, let's end this call with the features that you wanted to add to the additional features that you wanted to add to this algorithm.
Yeah.
uh, so
So,
one thing is dynamic height thing that you explained. So locked widgets and multi widget reflow are something we need.
yes. So I think I explained one of the feature that is dynamic height. You increase the height of a widget, everything below it moves away. Multiple reflow is today, if you see, this behavior only works when you start moving one widget together.
Right.
So we are extending it to multiple widgets. So if you start dragging 3, 4, 5, whatever the number you name, you can move them and um, respectively move whatever is in its place, and do a reflow of it. So yeah, this is the term reflow. You just reflow it.
Yeah.
And the other one, like you said, locked widgets is something where you want it to be a hard stop. You don't want it to move at all. So those kind of widgets, because there are requests from users who don't want their widget.
Okay. Um, Rahul, do you want to talk about the locking widgets thing?
Yeah, with the locking widget, like we wanted to like make sure if there's a widget, we can lock the widget so it doesn't move or reflow that reflow
Yeah,
with the collisions.
yeah.
Got
Whenever I'm on flow, this thing just interrupts me, man.
uh,
Yeah. So
worries.
yeah, that's one thing, and I think the other one was the other one lock widgets and dynamic minimum dimensions, I suppose. So today, if you in Appsmith's platform, if you want to shrink a widgets to its minimal size, it's 4 cross 2. That is, you can go up to I guess 4 columns and 2 rows, or 2 cross 2. I am not exactly sure. So it's a hard coded number. You
Six
cannot have.
rows and two columns.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that. So you cannot have like dynamic different minimum dimensions for different widgets, because you don't want a table widget which is 2 cross 4 or 4 cross 2. It doesn't make sense for a table widget, right? So we wanted to make sure different kind of dimensions are given for different widgets. Yeah, it makes sense from a user's standpoint, but from the algorithm standpoint, it's still a hard-coded number. So we wanted to change that and give more dynamicity for the algorithm. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah,
So when can we expect these features to be out? Any idea on that?
I think there are two POCs already going around for some user feedback.
Hmm.
I suppose Rahul can drop in those DPs on the research channel in Discord. So please do check that channel from time to time, users. We expect a lot of feedback from you guys. We really wanted your ideas to speak in the form of features. So there you can find those TPs. Those both TPs will be the copy paste experience involving reflow and multiple widget reflow. That is, you can move multiple widgets and move widgets out of the way. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Thanks for that, Ashok. All right. I think we came at the end of the session. So guys, in case if you have any questions, feel free to put them on chat, or else you can let us know your feedback, or if you have any comments on this, feel free to come join our Discord channel. And there are we interact every day. We help users build the best internal tools. So feel free to hop onto our Discord channel and share your feedback, or in case if you need any help, any support, you can reach us anytime. All right. I don't see any questions. So we'll wait for a couple more minutes and end the session.
Yeah.
All right. I think we can end this session. Okay, Jishnu says, great job.
Good job, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, conference. So conference. He'll be making videos, a lot of videos on this. New reflow and resize.
I love conference videos.
Yes. So
Yeah.
uh, you should definitely check out our YouTube channel and watch these videos.
I learn things about Appsmith from him, his videos. I'll be like, okay, when did this feature happen? Because things are happening so fast, you tend
Right.
to miss some of them. Yeah.
Right. So guys, so that's it from Rahul and Ashok. Once again, thank you both of you. I mean, usually, it's either Abhishek, me on conference doing the live demo, but it was really great chatting with you, especially who are working on these features every day, and, trying to understand your perspectives in terms of the user, in terms of your team, and also, yourself. So it's really great understanding the entire process of you shipping out some awesome features. And guys, this is all open source, so kudos to this guys who is doing everything in open. If that was me, I couldn't put my code out there, such huge chunks of code out there. But I hope these things keep coming on Appsmith, and I hope all the developers love these features. But your feedback will be really valuable. The entire I also thank the entire community for helping out build this feature once again. So with that being said, we'll be signing off for today. I'll see you back in the other video. Thank you guys. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Ashok.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you all.
Thank you everyone.
You guys.
Thanks for joining. Yeah.